already, the Lakers gave Jared Vanderbilt a 4-year, $48 million extension. So this will lock him up in LA for the next 4 years. As you guys know, the Lakers made a midseason trade for Jared Vanderbilt during the middle of last season, which proved very fruitful for them. Jared Vanderbilt was played phenomenally and played amazingly over the course of the regular season and during the playoffs as well. He showed himself to be a formidable defender on the perimeter and sometimes even the low post when necessary. And he showed the ability to knock down the open 3 ball. So he was your prototypical 3-and-D guy, for the Lakers, and he was a key piece for the Lakers in their success along their playoff run. And the good thing with Jared Vanderbilt, at least on the offensive end, the ball doesn't stick with him. And so whenever you're in a system that is ran by LeBron James or that has LeBron James in it, you have to have the ability to be able to shoot off the catch. You have to have that ability to create spacing, because even at the stage of his career that LeBron is in right now, he still likes to get downhill. He still likes to attack the basket. And by creating more floor spacing, by having more shooters on the perimeter, it opens up those driving lanes, and it makes it easier for LeBron to attack the basket. And it allows him to do what he does best, which is really play make and facilitate. And having Jared Vanderbilt there open up that spacing. But obviously what Jared Vanderbilt is most what he was most effective in while playing for the Lakers this past season was his defensive abilities. He showed the ability to guard 1 through 5 in some instances. Most times when he would be on the court, he would defend the opposing team's best perimeter player, which, as we know, takes a lot of pressure off of LeBron James, off of a Rui Hachimura. There are other wing players that get a large majority of playing time. And so by taking that pressure off of those guys, off of their other perimeter players, it allows those perimeter players to now exude more energy on the offensive end. And so now you're getting more proficient activity from those perimeter players, because now Jared Vanderbilt is your sole defender, your primary defender on the opposing team's best player. And that's why it's so important to understand your role and understand what you do best in a program or in a system. Because for all intents and purposes, we know Jared Vanderbilt, when he was in Minnesota, he was a solid shooter. He could shoot the ball well. He was in a system where he could put the ball on the floor more. But when he gets traded to LA, he's not asked to do that. He's asked to do something else. And because Jared Vanderbilt showed the ability to play within his role, not only did he get more playing time, but also he earned more money with this extension. And so that's why it's so important for guys to be able to understand their role and also buy into your role. Because when you're a part of a team, it's no longer just about your sole success. It's about the success for the team, and what are you willing to sacrifice. And we see time and time again that teams and programs, when they have players that aren't willing to buy into their system and buy into what their role is, it fails, not just for the player, but for the entire program. It fails for the entire system. And so that's why it's so important to buy into your role and to do your role best. And Jared Vanderbilt is a prime example of what can happen when you buy into your role. It can prove successful, not just for the team, but also for you as well. So having that sense of humility. Obviously, you're a great player because you got to that level, but show you're an even greater player by showing that you can specialize in one thing. Because every great player throughout NBA history showed the ability to specialize in one specific skill. And that's what they did best. And so when you play within your role, you're showing that ability to specialize in one specific skill. And when you're nuanced like that, it makes it easier for you to be plugged and played into different systems. So great pickup, great signing for Lakers by giving Vanderbilt that extension. And the other recent signing that we want to cover is the Washington Wizards re-signing veteran forward Taj Gibson to a 1-year, $3.2 million contract. Gibson averaged 3 points, 2 rebounds in 10 minutes in 49 games for the Wizards last season, Taj Gibson, he's played 14 seasons with 5 teams, most notably most known for his time with the Bulls and for the Knicks. Taj Gibson is going to be a important piece in that Washington Wizards locker room from a leadership perspective. This is a young Washington team, and they're rebuilding based off the trades. Them trading away Kristaps Porzingis and Bradley Beal, but also re-signing Kyle Kuzma to that max extension. They're obviously in rebuild mode right now, and having Taj Gibson there takes pressure off of Wes Unseld Jr. to have to, for all intents and purposes, kind of like regulate the entire culture, the entire system, and it allows Taj Gibson a role to, like I said, be a veteran leader and to show the young guys on that roster what it takes to be a professional, a consummate professional in the NBA. And it's so important to have veteran guys in that locker room, especially when you're in a locker room when you're a young team, which is something Houston struggled with last year, which is why they went and signed the likes of a Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. They signed guys that would provide a positive veteran presence in that locker room, and signing Taj Gibson for the Washington Wizards does that. As someone who's been a consummate professional and who has done things the right way despite his talent level, whatever you think about it, he has been a consummate professional. And having someone in the locker room like that, a positive role model, positive influence for the younger guys to look up to, it not only lays the groundwork and foundation for the younger guys as they move forward in their career, but also for your organization. It bodes well for you moving forward, because if your young core are the young guys that you're trying to build around, can have a strong foundation, solid foundation, when they start to get into their prime, it's much more solid and rooted in the positive traits and influences that were given to them as rookies, as younger players. And that's what Taj Gibson's going to do by signing in Washington for another year. So these are both big signings, great, perfect signings for each organization yesterday. But with that being said, guys, in our next segment, we are actually going to talk about the importance of establishing culture, not just in a high school program, but also in a collegiate program, and also in the NBA as well, because everything, no matter what level of basketball you're playing at, it's all about establishing culture. So be sure to stick around, guys. We're going to be talking about that in our next segment.